In this chapter, we will dive a little further on how the demographic and environmental factors actually affect the quality of essential oils. So in the textbook, you can read up on the principles of metabolomics. It is about how we can achieve metabolic homeostasis to achieve biological balance so that we can better quantify the physiological effects in organisms and to know how it's actually being affected by various factors. So for the physiology of plants, it's actually the science behind how different parts of plants function. So it is important for us to know what are some of the various parts of the plants that actually create the essential oils, or where the essential oils are being found. Now, the parts are, so some of the parts are the granular cells and hairs, the epidermal cells and resin walls, the oil or resin canals, as well as the oil reservoirs or cavities. So you need to know what are some of the oils that can be found in these various parts, and also what are some of the families that they belong to. For your exam, you will also need to read up on the section where energy is actually being stored in the plant as starch and how energy is being released. So go read up on this section. So for the next section, we will be studying a little bit more about how the plants actually react under harsh climate. You know, when they're subject to harsh conditions in a harsh climate. So we all know that plants all need water, sunlight, carbon dioxide, minerals, as well as protection from predators. So, but what we do not usually know is that when the climate is harsh, the plants actually have an innate mechanism in them to cope as well. And where does this innate mechanism come from? So when the conditions are harsh, the weather is harsh, they actually produce aromatic essential oils, and that is what helps them to survive. And it does so through regulating the plant's hormones, which affects the growth and production as a result. You can read up more about how plants like lavender, sage, rosemary release volatile essential oils to cope when the weather condition is harsh on them. So besides the plant requiring water, sunlight, carbon dioxide, minerals, protection from predators, and harsh climate to thrive, if we want to increase the therapeutic effect of the plant, we want to grow better quality plants, we also need to look into the cultivation and harvesting practices. For example, the source of the water. So of course, if it comes from a spring, if you have spring water flowing down to your soil, and the surrounding farms do not have any contamination in terms of water to your farm's water, and then of course you get much better quality plants. And also another factor will be the soil, right? We need to know whether the soil, is it being planted on virgin land, which is land that's never been planted on before, or has the soil actually been contaminated before? The altitude, the wind, and exposure to rain, all these factors actually make a difference to the quality of the plant. Another factor is the time, taken from harvesting to distilling the essential oil from the plant. So of course, if the distillery is on site at the farm, so once you harvested the plant and you straight away distill it, shortening the time, the gap in between, then of course we will also be able to increase the therapeutic effect that we get from distilling this plant. We all have heard of organic farming, but there is actually a standard called biodynamic farming that actually surpasses organic standards. It is a form of agriculture that is similar to organic farming, But it does not use herbicides, it does not use chemical fertilizers, does not use pesticides and synthetic fertilizers. But it is a lot more intensive than even organic farming standards, because it even takes into consideration what is the health of the soil, like the plant and the livestock, considered to be part of the farm's biosystem. Now, in biodynamic farming, they actually use manure and compost for the fertilizers because it is deemed to be the best organic matter to nourish the soil and achieve optimal soil health. In the preparation of biodynamic compost, they actually mix the animal manure with herbs such as chamomile, yarrow, valerian, as well as minerals to create field sprays and compost for the farm. So this is known as the biodynamic compost preparation, and it gives plants with much better, higher nutritional value. And you can read up more on biodynamic farming in the textbook. So that's all I have to share for chapter 6, and I will see you soon again in chapter 8.